Hello and welcome to another edition of Community Tapestry. My name is Napoleon Bell and I am the Executive Director with the City of Columbus Community Relations Commission. And next to me we have the Toni Teague.
Good to be here.
As always, the co-host here helping us out through these conversations that we have on a monthly basis, talking to the community about what's going on in our community, especially now. It's fall season. It's football season.
Yes, it is.
Go Browns. Go Browns.
Steelers.
Oh, goodness. Here we go. Well, I hope I don't have on black and gold or anything. But anyways.
Oh, you do have little gold on. Thank
it's
you.
close.
Yes, you
okay.
do.
Anyways. Okay, go Buckeyes.
Yeah,
but
go Bucks.
Since it is fall season, every year, you know, the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference hits Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, it does.
And it is the place where, you know, I tell you what, where you find out what's going on in the community and how to make a difference in the community. You know, because, and what's amazing about this conference and went last year is that it's actually community members who do a lot of the workshops, who do the presenting about how they made a difference.
That is
in
phenomenal.
The community. It's incredible. So we've got three lovely ladies here that we have got to introduce because they are the ones who are making the difference, making this Neighborhood Best Practices Conference happen. So let me turn to them because I'm excited. Excited.
So are we.
All
Do
right.
we get to sing the song? Maybe not. No karaoke. We're so excited.
Well, first off, we have Miss Stephanie Stewart-Young. She's the Vice President of Community Affairs and Director for Fifth Third of Central Ohio. So we'd like to welcome you to the program.
Thank you.
And always being a part of the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. So we're so glad to have you here to talk more about that.
It's our pleasure.
And we have, you know, the known and always known Miss Leila Boykin. You know, she's a community activist, but also she's the Vice President of the Woodland Park Neighborhood Association and also on the Planning Committee for the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. So I'd like to welcome you here.
Well, thank you.
You know, back again because you've been here several times.
Yes.
And then also her left arm, right arm, always up front also making things happen with the United Way, Miss Sharon Ware. She's with the United Way Neighborhood Partnership Center. And if you have anything dealing with the United Way, you know Sharon Ware. You know, making things happen there. All right, so welcome three lovely ladies, but also ladies that are making an impact in our community, you know, with so many different things. But what we're here to talk about today is a Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. Although, you know, having a banking industry here, you know, I've got like about 100 questions in regards to banks, finances, you know, how can you help me out? Where's my loan?
Now's not the time though, so what should we do just in case people get the vibe and they want to call Stephanie just for that purpose?
Well, they're going to have to hold those questions because we are talking about the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference, and we can talk about that with you, the community, if you give us a call at 645-6557. Again, that's 645-6557. Make that phone call to ask the ladies here about what's going on with the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference if you have a question or a comment.
And how you can be, and ask some questions about how you can be involved.
Exactly. So, well, let's get started. You know, first to our left, you know, Stephanie, you have been, you know, this isn't the first year for Fifth Third to being involved with the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. And I think, you know, some people think, well, why would the banking industry, you know, be involved in a Best Practices Conference, you know, for the neighborhood? You know, why did you guys decide to get involved?
Yeah, Fifth Third's been a part of this conference since its inception. Actually, this is the third year.
Wow, okay.
And we've been a sponsor every year since it started. And neighborhoods, we understand the value of neighborhood residents coming together to share best practices and really taking that back into the communities and really making an impact. And so when I heard about the conference, I said, we've got to be on board. So it's just really at the heart of what we do from a bank perspective. We're heavily engaged in the community. We have our banking centers in the community. So, you know, it's in our best interest to make sure that those areas are prosperous and really thriving communities. And so we try our best to be at the table for not only the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference, but many other neighborhood initiatives that are going on throughout the city.
So holding hands right there with the neighborhood.
Yes, most definitely.
Well, that's great to hear, you know, Bank at Fifth Third, I'm telling you, because they're down here working with the community, making things happen, making a big difference out there. So really appreciate what you're doing.
And Stephanie's really good at what she does at her job. I mean, she's right there in the community. She's always at an event, lending a hand, being active, and not just a face. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we expect to see you, you know, there when we're there on Friday, setting up, you know, pulling in the tables.
we will be there.
Whatever we need to
All right. Well, and we're talking about the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference that's going to be going on October 13th, I believe it is. That's a Saturday. So we're going to learn more about that. And learning more about that, well, let's talk to the person who's on the planning committee making it happen, Ms. Leila Boykin. So what do we have to see coming up on the 13th? And we got the visual up there. It's between 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. What can people expect to see there at the Columbus Downtown High School?
Well, people can expect to see some of their peers presenting workshops, not only just talking about what they did, but what they accomplished. And I think they're going to get a greater sense this time through not only the workshops, but the Afternoon World Cafe process, how important people are to a community. Because the biggest asset, in my opinion, in a community or a neighborhood are its people. And this conference for me, this third one, really is a way for us to cultivate people. It's a call to action. And that's key. And people will begin to see by the end of the day really how important their efforts are in terms of improving their neighborhoods.
So what are some of the topics about a neighborhood improvement? What are some of the topics that people can, in workshops, that people can expect to become part of?
One of the big ones, and one of my favorites, is community engagement. And that's bringing neighbors together to understand what the issues are and get some ideas from other people of how to resolve those issues. The next one is leveraging resources. You need tools, you need resources in order to apply to those issues to work things out. And the third major concept that we're addressing is inclusiveness. Our neighborhoods are changing demographically in terms of race, religion, sexual orientation, and so neighbors are a little different from the neighbors we had 5 years ago. How do we bring all of them together, include them in, and work for the common good of the entire neighborhood? So I think it's very exciting to guide people through each of these major concepts.
So it sounds like, from a neighborhood perspective, it sounds like you're going back to basics and getting right back to saying, let's connect and let's be neighbors.
Exactly. People will get to know each other. And part of the problem in neighborhoods is that a lot of people don't know their neighbors. So the question becomes, so why should I work on resolving something with you because I don't know you?
You make a good point there because, when you say, I think about myself. Do I know neighbors on each side of me?
Yeah.
And if I do I converse with them? Do I talk with them on a not normal basis? And I have to say, I don't. I mean, I do know both of them, but it's not like something that we're always over and talking to each other, this, that, and the other. So that's something that, I think all of us can work on. Because, and I think what I'm hearing is that the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference not only does that for the neighbors to your left and to your right, but this now, correct me if I'm wrong, this is open to the entire city.
Exactly. It's citywide.
Citywide.
And countywide, really.
Right, so anybody can come to this.
Yes.
And what's the cost?
Cost is $5, and that includes lunch.
$5.
And that includes
Can't get lunch anywhere.
Right. Exactly. So it's a bargain right off the bat.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Well, speaking of bargains, I got to turn to Ms. Sharon Ware because she is a bargain. All the work that she puts into this, I know with United Way and the work that they put into this. As far as the person, the convener of all the meetings and making things happen. Tell us about it costs a little bit of money to get in, and what all has the United Way been doing and putting this and collaborating with the City of Columbus to put this together?
Well, I couldn't have worked for a better employer than the United Way because of our vision for our communities. They have been so supportive in allowing staff to initiate this. I mean, this conference really runs on a shoestring. And it has been because of the input from community people like Leila and about 20 other people who come over a year putting in almost 50 hours of time to make this happen. And what happens is that people are able to talk about their communities, what works for them and what challenges they have approached, and they can celebrate when things work. And many neighborhoods who come have been where they have felt that they're by themselves, no one else knows what they're going through, and they are truly inspired by their peers and community workers of things that they've done. So in 3 years, the alliances that have been made through neighborhoods from one end of town to the other has been phenomenal.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. I think we also have some video, of a past conference that I think they're going to roll here in just a little bit, just to kind of give our viewing audience an idea of what they can see. And and while they're getting that queued up, how many people? I understand it's growing.
Yes.
How many people are you expecting for this year?
This year we're expecting the maximum of 250. The first year we started out at about 150 people. The second year we were at 200, and this year we can only get in 250. So register quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm hearing. It's like
Yes.
you've got to register now
Correct.
to be able to get in the door.
Yes.
And so, well, speaking of registration, how does someone go about registering?
Well, you can register online, and I believe it's on the pop-up menu here. You can go online and register through United Way. If you are unable to write it down right now, just go to United Way of Central Ohio website, and you'll be able to find.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's something that is now. Can somebody, do they have to register online, or can they come through the door in case? It's a last-minute thing, or do we really want them to register online?
Well, this year especially, since we can only register 250 people, we encourage you to go online. If for some reason, life changes and you can actually come, you can come to the door, and a registration goes up to $10, though.
Okay.
And certainly we'll try to get you in.
Okay. Not unless we're, at capacity, because I understand that, we do have the city's going to be there with police and fire, and doing
yes.
doing programs there too. So we don't want to get shut down by fire department who's giving a presentation. Right.
Sitting in a firefighter's lap will not do it, because we're over.
So okay, well, we got to make sure that. So we're going to tell our viewing audience, you got to get registered now. And matter of fact, there's some of the video from the past. Well, there I am, the past conference. I kind of the get things going, and I'm scared to say I think I had the same tie on. But with that, we had you say 200 people there, and that's just part of them there in a good-sized lunchroom. And the pastor, what was the pastor?
Damon Lynch.
Damon Lynch was a credible keynote speaker. We're going to talk about who's going to be the keynote for this year, but that was Damon Lynch there. He was talking about the glass half full, half empty, and there was there was a police and doing the SWAT thing, and so they were showing them the different workshops that were going on. We had youth workshops, getting the youth involved, actually doing a workshop.
And that's
and then we have the mayor, definitely, at the lunchtime, giving a presentation there and talking about the things that are going on in our great city here in Columbus. So it's a great conference, and all positive feedback I understand from last year's conference.
Yeah, our surveys, we get over 85% satisfaction.
Wow.
The complaints, workshops aren't long enough. We didn't have time to talk to people and to, form even additional relationships. And that's why this year's conference is very exciting, because we're providing that opportunity for people to engage with each other, and that this World Cafe will allow us to put the remarks and comments of the participants online. What better way to celebrate our 200th anniversary than for not only Columbus, but the rest of the country to see what we're doing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of people connect to the stories. Do you have any stories to share about some of the connections that you've seen people be able to make, whether it's over the past 2 years coming into this year, or just some of the things you've seen happen at the conference where people had those aha moments?
Well, for me, being with the Woodland Park Neighborhood Association, someone from the Franklin Park Area Association contacted me. And so I've been attending some of their meetings, and we've been collaborating on various issues around safety, what we did, what they can do, things to look out for. Even the idea of neighborhoods having a safety party for your individual personal safety. So, and that's worked out really well for me on a personal level. just to be able to say, you're right across Broad Street, right? And we can link up together. Making alliances with the Mountain View District Improvement Association. And there are several organizations coming together now because the networking that takes place, and we expect the networking to be a lot deeper with this conference. And so you begin to find out, well, you know, we've been thinking about doing the same thing. Why don't we come together and work on this? So there's a project being talked about on the east side with Woodland Park and the Mount Vernon Avenue District Improvement Association of things that we can do to work towards neighborhood improvement. So it really does matter when you link up with someone at that conference and you find out that we have a lot more in common than we thought we did.
And probably a lot more resources because you're actually
Yes.
having conversation.
Exactly.
And I think the whole fact about resources, groups are looking at, they want to implement things in their community, and one of the things, yes, money is necessary many times, but being able to identify other stakeholders that may have an interest. That's why I feel that our relationship with Fifth Third is so important, because the attendees can see the relationship that they have with us and how they support their communities.
Well,
I was going to say one of the benefits that I've seen from the conference is really centered around volunteerism. And with Fifth Third, we have a program called our Young Bankers Club program, and we've recruited a ton of volunteers from that event that have helped us because they've heard about the financial empowerment work that we're doing in the schools, and they said we want to be a part of that because in many instances we're bringing those programs to schools in their respective communities. So that's been an avenue for us to garner additional volunteers to actually be in the schools and teaching financial education to the students. So it's been helpful in many ways to not only communities but also to Fifth Third in helping to deliver some of the programs we have in the communities.
That's good. Well, I think it really does a great job when you're talking about bringing children, you know, hand in hand to actually touch a bank, which, you know, years ago that probably was rather unheard of, and then here you have this collaboration going. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to say the same thing, that, you know, you don't hear about that too often, and so now that you've got actually a bank working on, you know, with young people, and then, you know, because we're trying to bring young people to the conference too, because they, you know, they're going to be in the positions that the older persons are, myself included, you know, of trying to really address these issues. You know, yes. Oh, okay. Just for me included.
Yeah, just speak for you, not any of us.
But we are going to have a workshop around involving young people. There's been a lot of discussion about who takes over when we're too old to do it. Okay. And there are young people in our communities whom we can groom, and they can learn how to lead, but you have to give them the opportunity to do that. So that's going to be a big part of the conference.
So we're going to also for the kids, you go online, go to United Way, UnitedWayCentralOhio.org, and register yourself and your parents.
Yes.
to come.
Make sure that happens. Now, also, the city's going to be a part of this. So, you know, I know that we're talking about having, you know, both the police and fire there. We're going to have, well, I can talk about because that's my part, is to make sure that the city has police departments, fire departments, code enforcement. We're going to have some health department there. We're going to be talking about a big thing in some communities is the liquor issues and liquor concentrations in particular issues. And so we'll be talking about the liquor, how to do the liquor objections, and also voting areas dry, because people are really having issues with that in particular neighborhoods that is causing a downturn. So we want to make sure that we provide as much information and resources that the city can provide to help. Yeah, so come on to help improve and positively impact the communities out there, because we got to make this happen.
Yeah, we
I
do.
mean, it's just a must do, and so I'm so happy that, you know, we have, you know, there's a large committee. You know, it's not just 3 people here. There's a good sized committee of volunteers, right?
Yes.
Community people who have, you know, decided that they want to reach out to other community people. And we're all, you know, we're in this together. And as our mayor talks about a great city, we truly are. We truly are. And I think we need to let the rest of the world know.
Yeah. And we want to make sure that people understand that it takes us, the neighbors, to improve our quality of life. And by coming together and networking, we can make it happen.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is a common, I think, question, or people say, and I've heard them say, well, it's been that way 20 years. It's going to be that way another 20 years.
Yes.
I can't make any difference out there. And I think what has happened is that they feel so beaten down for so long that they can't make a difference on their own. So what do we say to those persons, those people who are saying that to others out there?
I say come and hear someone else who was at that same point, maybe a year or so ago, and learn what they did to turn things around, because it can happen. People do it. But if you never talk to other people who've tried it and been successful, then you'll continue to think, well, it's been this way for 20 years, and there's nothing that can happen. And that's simply not true.
It's not true. And that's why we want to make sure, we try to do programs like this to show, because we don't hear that enough.
Yes.
About the positive things that are going on in the community, the positive things that people have made a difference in the community. We will hear about the shootings and everything else, but we want to hear about the neighborhood groups and the individuals who are making that positive impact to change those lives in that community for better.
Oh yeah, I mean there are neighborhoods that have taken vacant lots and turned them into beautiful gardens. It's possible, can do.
Definitely. Now, let me go back to Fifth Third, not with the banking question, but with involvement in the community. Is there other things that you guys are doing, with the community or different agencies to make positive impact?
Yes, great question. We're doing a ton of things in the community. One of the current initiatives that we're doing is in partnership with United Way. It's actually our Neighborhood Leadership Academy. This is the first inaugural year of the Neighborhood Leadership Academy, which is a perfect tie to the overall Neighborhood Best Practices Conference, where we are actually, we've just selected 18 neighborhood residents from throughout Central Ohio to go through, really it's about a 8 to 9 month program in where they're going to be learning tools and techniques and all kind of information and resources that they can use in their respective communities to make an impact in their communities. And so Fifth Third stepped up when United Way approached us with the concept, and we said, this is right at the heart, similar to neighborhood best practices of what we like to do, because we understand the value of neighborhood residents really having a voice in the overall revitalization of their communities and the development of their communities. And so we said, how can we be a partner? And so we stepped up to be the lead sponsor for this program for this year. And I'm excited about where it's going to go. We're actually doing a kickoff event on September 17th. It's the launch event that's going to happen, and we've got my president from Fifth Third, Jordan Miller, who will be saying some welcoming comments. Janet Jackson is going to be there to kick it off as well, from CEO of United Way. And then I believe Mayor Coleman is tentatively attending as well, and he'll be welcoming all those individuals that have been selected into this inaugural class. So, and it'll go through, I believe, April of next year, and we're excited about the information that they're going to learn and what they're going to be able to do with that information and take it back to their communities to truly help in the transformation of their communities. So, yeah.
And I have to let you know that our neighborhood association president was selected to be in the class, so we're just extremely excited about that.
Well, when I'm hearing this, I'm like, well, you know what? You said, how long will they be in the class? I said, okay, well, they can come to the next neighborhood best practices conference and do the presentation about what they've learned.
Exactly. And that's what we like to see happen.
That sounds like a plan.
Yes. Yes.
In fact, they will be introduced at this year's conference.
Okay. Okay. Great. Well, that'll be a great wrap.
Yeah.
You know what? We should get with CTV, and they should follow them along their steps as they learn, as they apply.
That would be wonderful.
That would be a great.
That would be wonderful.
A great project.
Yes.
Well, yes. But that would be great, and we look forward to hearing from them, though, the before and after, and what all they learned, because this is what we're talking about, the holistic approach to really making a difference and that impact in the communities. Sharon, did you say?
No, I thoroughly agree with you. It seemed like a natural progression. You start out with neighborhood best practices. You got to, in fact, see who the leaders are out there. And then you have this initiative that comes along with Fifth Third. Beautiful. And so for what, 2 or 3 years from now, what kind of city will we have?
Right.
And I think it will be one we'll be very proud of.
Well, you know, and I think I'm very proud of it now because if you just recently saw, I think it was in the New York Times, they were talking about, you know, Ohio, you know, and more importantly, Columbus.
Yes.
You know, we have something definitely to be proud of being in Columbus, and you know, the leaders have made a big change, but also who makes a very big change is the people that are, you know, in the weeds, making the difference.
Yes.
You know, pound the pavement and making it better, you know, for all of us, you know,
If you
out there.
strengthen the neighborhoods, you strengthen the city.
Exactly right.
definitely.
Exactly right. Well, let me know the place, the time, what's the name of this conference that's going on, and if I want to get tickets, you know, if I just want to donate money because I believe in what's going
that's
on,
fine.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
how do I go about doing that?
Certainly, you can reach me at United Way at the Neighborhood Partnership Center, or you can go to our website if you want to go ahead and purchase that, you know, ticket for that conference.
I believe that's liveunitedcentralohio.org.
Correct.
All right, go ahead.
And you will want to get in as soon as possible. I think it is the best time for you to consider if you have any questions about, you know, if you want to bring maybe a display of your neighborhood. We encourage other neighborhoods to, you know, show off who they are. Give me a call there at United Way, and we certainly would like to continue the conversation. So it's October 13th, 7:30. That's with breakfast to
AM?
wake you up.
Okay.
AM.
All right.
To 4 p.m.
So do I get a continental breakfast?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
lunch.
And
And
lunch? I get lunch?
And lunch.
All
We've
right.
got 2 dynamic keynotes for the mornings. Michael Wilkos, who I have the honor of working with. If you want, he is Mr. Columbus.
All
He knows
right.
everything about it, and he brings you a call to action. And then we end the program with Tom Diller, who is another incredible person of Columbus and knows how groups work. And he is going to also give our call to action, so we walk out that door ready to go.
Fired up. I'm already fired up.
I thought so.
Wow.
I tell you. Well, go ahead.
I was going to do the rap.
Oh, you're going to do the rap?
So let's.
What kind of rap you going to do?
Well, I was going to say that, you know, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough once said that, you know, we're mourning the death of someone else, the someone else that has died and no longer with us. That was the someone else that made sure the neighbor next door who was aging was well taken care of. He was the person, he or she was the person who made sure that the animals that were dead in the street got called and picked up. And for all of those things that someone else did that we never really thought about because someone else did them, we are now that someone else. So I invite each and every one of you to come out to the neighborhood best practices. We'd like to thank Stephanie for coming out. Stephanie Stewart-Young, Leila Boykin, and Ms. Sharon Ware for your support, for all of your year-long planning of the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. And we look forward to filling the place to 250 people and next year being somewhere where we can get 1,000.
There you go.
yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to 1,000 people next year, but this year, make sure you call. Make sure you get signed up because
Online,
seats are
right?
going fast.
They are going fast.
All right. Well, before I get all choked up here over all this happiness going on, we've got to go to a break, but be right back. Come right back because we're going to be talking to the United Negro College Fund and all the great things that are going on there. We got a lot of things coming up this year, so don't go away. We'll be right back after this message.